because it is Wednesday and I just finished a live over on my own Facebook page, and I thought this is a great time for me to pop on, say hello, and show you a little bit about what I am working on this week. So welcome. I did put a link in the description if you're looking to find any of the products that I'm using today. They are all from DixieBellePaint.com. I am a brand ambassador over there at Dixie Belle Paint, where I get to play with all the fun new things that come out and show you the best ways to update your furniture, crafts, and home decor. So welcome. All right, so what have I done so far today? Well, this little washstand was a freebie. I picked up this from Freebie on Marketplace about a week ago. I brought it home, I did some minor repairs, and I cleaned it very well. The doors on this oak washstand actually had massive cracks in them where you could see through. So rather than replacing the doors or replacing the wood, I just filled in the cracks with Dixie Belle's mud. This mud will allow me to smooth it out, and I can sand over top of it and it becomes completely flat. Once it was completely flat, I made sure to seal my mud with Dixie Belle's Boss. This is Bonding Boss in white. This allows me to lock in what I did with my with my mud, and then the Bonding Boss is going to stop any possible tannins or bleed through from coming through the paint. All right, you can see the original color of this oak washstand up here. It's very orangey color, and we just did a little bit of paint wash over on Facebook showing everybody how to achieve this look. I also applied this decoupage paper. This is the caned webbing decoupage paper from Dixie Belle. I cut it, stuck it in there. Once it's dry, I can seal it, and it's going to hide all of those imperfections that were in the wood, including the very big cracks. So I thought today we could stand up and work on the top of this piece a little bit together and talk about why I love a paint wash for furniture, especially oak furniture, because it really works well on this style of furniture, because this is very porous wood. And sometimes when you find these pieces, they're very dry, they're really thirsty, and they have huge pores, and they suck the paint in. And it's a great way to use such a tiny amount of paint and really get a great look. So let's stand up and work on the top of this piece together. I'm going to show you what is happening over here. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. If you have questions as I'm working, you're more than welcome to drop them in. I will answer them afterwards. And we're going to work on this finish right here. So this wood has big stains. You can see this big stain right here on the top. Can you see that big burn mark? That big burn mark, even when sanded, is not going to come out. So finding a way to cover this up is essential for flipping this piece. Now, a paint wash is something that anybody can do. It's not hard. It's one product, and it's very simple application. You're going to need a rag of sorts. You're going to need a paintbrush and a spray misting bottle filled with water. The choice for this piece is called Caviar. This is a no VOC water-based chalk mineral paint, and I love it. I use this color a lot because it is the perfect black. So let's work on this edge right here to show you a little bit about what a paint wash is. I'm going to dampen my brush with my spray misting bottle. This just allows the paint to be a little bit thinner. And I'm going to dip into my chalk mineral paint. All right, I'm going to take this, I'm going to apply it across the whole front. So we're going to move you back so you can see this whole edge. We're going to apply this paint very easily. Try not to get it on my mic. Just across the lip of this dresser. I like to work in sections when I do a wash, because a wash is a lot of putting something on and then pulling it off. So you can take your rag. Dixie Belle actually sells a bag of rags, believe it or not. They're washed, they're cut, and they are lint-free. You can either spray your rag or spray the piece. And we're going to wipe back what we just did. By wiping it back, you're allowing that grain to peek through a little bit, giving this piece that washed out vibe. Like I said, super simple. Anybody can totally do this. I'm going to show you the side. Let's see if we can move this little chest over here, and I'm going to put you at the end so that you can follow along on the top of this piece. All right? So you can see this section of wood. We're going to work on this next section. Like I said, it's easier to work in sections so you can wipe on and pull back. Again, spraying so your brush is a little bit damp. And going right over top of that really big burn mark. Pushing it in any scratches and marks, because I actually want to accentuate those. I don't want them to be hidden. I think that something that's as old as this piece of furniture deserves to have a beautiful vibe, showing all of those little scratches and marks. Okay, you're going to take your rag and we're going to wipe gently to cover the burn, but still show what's underneath. I like to go in the direction of the wood grain. Turn my rag around so that it doesn't get too saturated with paint. So what's going to happen on the top of this piece is the burn marks that you see, I'm going to be able to build up the layers of paint to cover. So where the burn mark is going to be a little bit darker, and it's going to allow me to cover it a little bit more. Let me turn the camera angle so you can see a little bit better. So this is unwashed and this is washed. Let's just continue along the top of this piece. Let's do the side. We're going to just do this little edge over here. I have a ton of video tutorials here up on YouTube as well as on Facebook, where you can learn everything that you need to learn about Dixie Belle paint products and painting your furniture, pretty much from step 1 to done. If there is a product, I have got a video. So now we've done this little edge, you can continue along. I could probably do this whole section. I can put my spray bottle in my pocket and hold the paint. Let's finish off this whole section on the top. If you feel your brush start to drag and you want to keep your paint damp, this is water-based paint. You're able to spray it. Okay, and again with my rag, set my paint down. I like to kind of fold my rag over to the clean section and start to pull it back. Because you can start to tell when your rag gets overly saturated. It starts to get a little bit streaky, and I don't want too streaky. I want it to be smooth. See that big streak? That's because my rag needs to be flipped over. I'm going to get out my spray misting bottle. I'm just going to spray this section. Ooh, we're getting low on water. Come on. There we go. So this area needs a little bit more. Let's add some of that paint back on there with our brush. And you can also use a dry brush and fill in any areas that might need just a little bit more coverage. What I most likely will do is let this whole entire top piece get dry, and then I can come back in after it's dry and really decide where I want to deposit some more color. But this paint wash is going to allow your wood grain to show through without having to paint the whole entire thing, if that makes sense. What do you think? Super cute, right? Super cute. Let me bring you around to the front one more time so that you can see a little bit more about this paint wash. This is also why I never go live on YouTube. There's so much moving the camera around. So this went from being a very orangey oak to being something that's just a little bit more muted, a little bit softer. I like to call it my brindle wash. I named it my brindle wash after my puppy. I have a brindle boxer, and she's always the inspo for a piece like this because it ends up looking like her. Super cute and brindle wash. So that, my friends, is as far as I can take you now. I'm gonna have to reset up this floor and kind of turn this entire piece around. Give a paint wash a try. If you are new to painting and you're worried about how it's gonna turn out, a paint wash is something that is, number one, fast and easy, and you're gonna use minimal amounts of product. It's so beginner friendly, very easy to do, and looks amazing on old oak like this. All right, so don't be afraid to get a little messy. Have a little fun, and if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. I'm always hanging out here either on YouTube or over on Facebook. But you can find all of my work at the top Drawer RVA. Once again, my name is Melissa. I am the owner artist here in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm also a Dixie Belle brand ambassador. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Goodbye.